Welcome back to the channel once more, Star Seekers. I hope you're all doing good, and today we're going to be taking a look at an odd little title called Drunken Fist. It's a physics-based brawler where you play as an intoxicated bearded fella who after a heavy night on the ale is just trying to make his way home, but the streets are filled with all kinds of yobs who are just looking to pick a fight with him, so his only option is to adopt his best kung fu stance and wade into them with fists of fury. Barely able to stand though, with a full bladder and a craving for a dirty kebab, he's gonna have one hell of a fight on his hands. So let's fall face first into this review and check out Drunken Fist. Now I'll start by saying there's nothing overly complex about Drunken Fist. It's a simple physics-based brawler, but you have an assortment of moves at your disposal and the main menu has a list containing all of them. Stumbling our way into the first area of the game then, we take control of our plastered hero and trundle our way towards the first of our would-be opponents, a couple of jocks. But after swinging and missing with a few unsuccessful blows, Jeff takes a fist to the face and goes down. But there's no way that a furry tap like that is going to put him out for the count, so he picks himself up and tries a bit of a leg sweep only to be smashed to the floor once more. Now combat in Drunken Fist does take a bit of getting used to until you learn how to perform different moves and work out the distances on your strikes. As is the case in real life, just walking when you're this tanked up is a bit of a challenge, and the game does a good job of making it difficult by giving your character tank controls. Now for those who are unfamiliar with this type of control scheme, it was first used in the early 90s, and unlike most games nowadays which directly move your character in the direction that you point in the analog stick, tank controls see you turning your character by holding left or right on the analog stick, with the up and down directions walking backwards and forwards, or in Drunken Fist case, stumbling back and forth. As you move in a direction, your character quickly gains momentum, and just like all good drunken runs, gaining too much speed inevitably ends in you falling flat on your face, so you need to learn when you've hit your speed limit before you hit the deck. Now Drunken Fist contains 7 levels for you to work your way through, though these aren't separated into individual locations. Instead, the game takes you on a journey across the city, with each stage beginning from where you ended the previous stage. Your objective in stages is simply to knock out all of the gobshites and occasionally hunt down some collectibles, after which your progress is saved, as are any of the items that you carry in. But it's worth noting that there are no save slots, so only one game is saved at a time, which can become a bit of an issue if you run out of items and can't manage to batter your way through the hordes of rowdy street thugs. Once I got the hang of things though, I was like Jackie Chan in the movie Drunken Master, though less Chinese of course and more hick. Now getting your face mashed to a pulp by businessmen, jocks, punks and hipsters isn't the only thing that you've got to contend with in Drunken Fist. Our inebriated hero has his own needs of course, and these come in the form of 2 meters in the bottom left corner. The first of these is a thirst meter. See how Jeff has got a bit of a problem which requires him to go minesweeping for half-drunken beers, and letting this meter get too low will slowly drain his health, but as mentioned before, items like beers and burgers which restore your health when consumed can be a little tricky to come by. Our second meter is pretty self-explanatory. What goes in must come out, and when you've got to go, you've got to go. Jeff's bladder will slowly fill, and once full you'll also start to lose health, but this problem can be solved by relieving Jeff in a secluded corner against a nearby car, or if you're feeling particularly fiendish, over the top of an unconscious opponent. Be careful though, as Jeff's thirst for the amber nectar has left him particularly dehydrated, so his piss is like treacle and will cause anyone who walks on it to take a tumble, including Jeff himself. Now aside from his unquenchable thirst, ever-filling bladder and the legion of drunken hooligans he's got to deal with, a few of the stages also have a couple of the boys in blue to contend with. Armed with an epic tash, a truncheon and a lack of tolerance for the inebriated that only a sober policeman could muster, the Rozzers don't stand for any drunken nonsense and will try to nick you as soon as they spot you, especially if like Jeff you piss on the hush puppies, so best swerve clear of them if you can. So after playing through Drunken Fist, I can say that not for the first time, I actually had a fun time stumbling my way home. The game itself is actually pretty challenging as the number of opponents in each stage grow, and I think an assortment of equipable weapons would have added additional depth to the game's combat system. With only 7 stages, Drunken Fist is also a pretty short game, and at most you're likely to have it wrapped up in a couple of hours, so I think it could have done with some sort of multiplayer battle mode to extend the playtime. When it comes to visuals, the game features some decent low poly environments and character models, which the ridiculous physics often skew into impossible and amusing shapes, though I will say that the in-game camera sway will likely cause a bit of motion sickness in some players, and there's not actually a way to turn it off. Audio wise, we get some standard punch and kick sounds which are fine, and a rather eclectic mix of tracks in the in-game soundtrack which are all pretty decent. So now let's get down to rating the game. Now I rate games between 1 and 5 stars, with a shovelware stamp of approval reserved for the worst games on the eShop. This rating is based on my own personal opinion on the quality and quantity of a title's gameplay, and whether I think it offers value for money to potential buyers. For a rating, I'd give Drunken Fist 3 out of 5 stars. Drunken Fist is an alcohol-fueled ramble across town, with a ton of humorously frustrating fist fights and plenty of face plants for good measure, and while it won't occupy you for a huge amount of time, it's still plenty of fun in my opinion and well worth a play. The game releases on the 23rd of December, and you can pick it up from the UK Switch eShop for £6.99 or from the US eShop for $7.99. Alternatively, Drunken Fist will also be coming to other consoles and is available to play right now on Steam. And that just about wraps up this review of Drunken Fist, so hit that like button if it helped you out, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel to be notified of future reviews and content. For now though, I just want to thank you all very much once again for watching, and until next time, take care of yourselves and game on.